Hey guys, and welcome back to Minecraft on the SurvivalCraft server, episode 20. Yay, we made it to 20 episodes. Haha. um, so today we're doing things a little differently, and I've been doing a lot of building on this. Look at this. I've been doing so much building, but I wanted to get away from building for a day and actually work a little bit with something different. Something that, generally speaking, on this server, I'm the only one that has access to, but we need them set up for the arena to actually function the way we intend it to. Now, some of you are going to question my, integrity on the server. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But we need access to commands. So I have obviously OP'd myself. And we are in creative mode, and you guys can see what it is I'm going to be dealing with today. I need access to the command blocks and the different commands so that everyone can access these blocks and activate them as they need to. There are some problems with this, obviously. There is the potential for this to be abused, but we work on an honor system here, and most of these commands are... They aren't going to really harm the server in the long run if somebody accidentally lets it on, something stupid like that. It's simple things like setting up teams, making sure that we can keep our inventory when we're in a battle, because let's face it, if we're fighting each other, we don't want each other's inventory falling out and everyone picking up each other's stuff, things like that, especially if it's our own personal gear. We don't want to be dropping that. And now granted, I am going to have this set that, for obvious reasons, if you don't want that set up, you can keep it off. You can keep it that you drop your inventory. It's all based on what you want to do. As I stated before, I'm going to, have teams set up so that, you can have a scoreboard. I plan on having it set that the area will be indestructible, if you want it to be, because... let's face it, not everyone wants to travel clear out to that damn desert just to face off against the Wither. This could make an interesting spot for a Wither fight. Maybe set up a couple Withers, really challenge yourself. That, and this will also kind of trap the Wither inside the arena, because, as I've stated before, it will be capped off. It's still a large area for a Wither to run around and mess things up, but you'll be right here. I will also, if I can, I will figure out a way to do it that you can set your spawn point temporarily here at the gate. So yeah, we're going to just be messing around with this today. I am gonna be pulling up. Oh yeah, I had a creeper blow up. I need to get up there and light that up, but we're not doing that right now because we're in creative. I won't be touching anything that has to do with building, because that's cheating, and I'm not cheating. I'm strictly setting up commands. Now, I had already tried setting up one of these, like so, and I'm having some difficulty with the keep inventory off and on commands. Strictly being that keeping inventory off is working when I activate it. Keeping it on isn't working. Keeping it to true, it's not working when it's activated through a command block. So there are some bugs and some kinks here and there that I'm going to have to have Bacon come on and help me with, because Bacon's kind of my resident redstone expert, and I'm hoping he has some pretty good knowledge on commands, a little bit better grasp than I do, and we'll see about that. I wanted to keep them buried back in here and have them covered up, then just have the switches here, or not switches, but some buttons that you just come over and push. For the time being, for simplicity's sake, I'm just setting things up right here like this, because that means setting up comparators and other things that might get in the way, and I want to make sure that things like, them touching like this isn't going to interfere, things like that. I want to make sure there's no interference with anything other than what we see right in front of us here. So, we do have... okay. So that's that. So we're going to set up this one. This is going to be for keep inventory off. So game rule, keep, oops, and I think is false. All right, now that should set that. Boom, and then we throw a button on the front. Now, the only way to really know if this activates properly is to come in here. Okay, that looks to be about the right time. This isn't based off of where I live, so the time's actually a little off. It's like 2 hours behind me. So, yeah. I have to assume that works. So, the next step, boom, here we go. And game rule. Dang it, I can't type. Keep inventory and set it to true. Now, that should work. Now, how will we test that? Well, we have to actually kill ourselves. So, let's activate it. It says it's changed. So that should be right. You know, I for all intents and purposes, that appears to be set right. And we have to come out here, and we're just going to literally do one of these. And it didn't work. This is the problem I've been running into. Alright, so let's go ahead and respawn. And now, you guys saw it right here in the chat. I have the command sitting right here. So we'll set it to true, and we'll test it really quick. Just so that I know for a fact it works, right? Like, and there, we already see it works. Okay, so, oh, there, it made me question it for a second. So we know it works, and that command should be working through a command block. Unless there's a bug that I am unaware of, it should be working. So let's click off, alright, and let's see if that worked. Because I have to make sure at least one of these is working for now, and then we can kind of test it as we go. That didn't work. Surprisingly, that didn't work. Okay, so right. Okay. This is part of the whole, you know, process though. This is the thing I hate about command blocks is even though I am, you know, an OP, you know, I'm currently OP'd on the server. I am the server admin through the commands and console and everything. I can't alter a command block when I'm OP'd on the server without going into creative. That's a pain in the ass. I could see where it could possibly be abused, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. So, okay, let's actually try doing one of these jobs. I'm just curious if this will work. Because normally you don't need that / at all, but I'm curious because I gotta be honest, I don't trust this thing. Okay, so set it to true. So now we know it's actually updated. Let's go ahead and hit that. Something bothers me here, though. This should actually be popping up in chat. But, yeah, that's the right time. So, okay. So, in theory, I should come out here and just off myself. Like, and it should drop my inventory. It worked. Okay. So that one worked. Let's try setting up so that it's true. In the other one, we'll just copy and paste it directly out of the chat window here. It could be that maybe it's bugged. There could be a problem with... We're still on Spigot. So there could be a problem with Spigot that it's kind of bugged or something. I don't really know. So I'm going to have to check. So, alright, let's fly up. In theory, this should work, and I should keep my inventory. I did not. Now, I wonder if it's too close. I wonder if there's a problem where the two touching each other is causing issues. I've never had that happen before, but it's entirely plausible that that's what's going on here. In which case, I'll have to move that sign, but... Keep game rule. Keep inventory. Let's just capitalize that just for giggles here. Actually, no. You know what? Keep it lowercase. I'm going to keep it lowercase for now, because I know for a fact that the lowercase was working through the chat, prompt. So let's try that. Now, I should have keep inventory on. This is the part that, I've just been kind of stuck on this for a little while. It worked. Okay, so them touching is a problem. Which causes a problem for me, actually. Right. So the fact that these two touch is a problem for me. And I'm going to have to actually destroy that. Okay. That means I'm going to have to separate these two out. And that means any subsequent blocks I'm going to have to keep separated. That means a lot of my commands are on except for the ones that will actually use any chain commands, which I think with some of my team-based stuff, it will actually use some chain-based commands. I'm going to have spaced out everything, which kind of makes a dent in my plans. Because I planned on having this as compact as possible, and now it is not compact at all. I'm actually a little bit concerned about that, because it makes me wonder if this is the best spot to have these now, and if maybe I shouldn't have them somewhere else. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I am unsure now if this is how I want to set this up now. It's a little bit of a problem, because, I need things to be compact, but I don't know. The only thing I can figure is to, bury these somewhere and have, a long line of redstone coming out to them, but that's more work than I really intended to do for commands, just to set up some game rules. That's, matter of fact, why, like I said, I'm just doing this for now to test them, and then later on, I'll actually bury them, back in just a few blocks, because the other problem, if I need to add more, or if I need to change any of these, things of that nature, I need access to them fairly quickly, and, the initial intent was to, just knock out a block back there, or take back, 2 blocks, have a solid stone, one of these, the stone brick, have a switch on it, comparator behind it, and then the command block. And I thought that was my problem initially with this, but apparently it's the fact that these two are touching. You cannot have them touching at all. That's a problem. So, alright. I'm gonna start setting up some of these other ones. I actually have to like actually figure out my commands that I need because every set of commands I actually have to set up the syntax and everything else that is necessary. Um, I might even like in the future, like this is like really planning ahead. I may eventually set it up that you hit a block or you hit like command blocks and you can like set up what'll essentially be classes, if you will. Like you'll have somebody that's set up with like leather armor, but they have a you know, they're more set up for archery. You know, they're kind of set up, they're a weaker archer, that sort of thing. And then you'll have another one that's like maybe a knight that's diamond armor, but he's kind of limited by certain weaponry or something. You know, he might have to only use an axe. That sort of thing. You know, just for some interesting kind of just shits and giggles. That sort of thing. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, what can I set up for commands to make for some interesting games? You know, because that's what this whole idea is. This arena isn't just for straight PvP. It's set up for games in general. Like I'm talking like doing some mini games, things like that to keep not so much to keep people interested, because if people aren't interested in general, they aren't going to play these either. They're not going to want to play them. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is just to give people, you know, they want to come on. A bunch of us want to get on and just shit around. We just want to have some fun, but not go on to somebody else's server. We just want to do it amongst ourselves. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Who knows? Maybe this could blow up into something more. Maybe I could set up like a small maybe like figure out a way to replicate this into maybe an actual PvP server to involve like our little group, and maybe have like some fans come on, like some of our subscribers. You can come on, like we could have them come on once a month or something, that sort of thing. That's no promises. No promises. That's just me thinking out loud. Probably not something I should do often, but hey, screw it. I don't care. It's just my thoughts put out there. You know, the guys, when they're watching this, are probably going to smack themselves in the head and go, Dave, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. So, yeah, I'm going to work on some of these command blocks. I'm going to figure out how I want to do these now, because obviously things have changed. I used to be able to set these things up next to each other, and I forgot that, you know, we had to change up to, you know, like you no longer need comparator, like one command block, and then once that command block's activated, you have like a series of command blocks that are activated via comparators and some redstone and things like that. Now you actually can use command blocks in chains that, you know, if command block A is activated and X happens, then you can have B happen, or that instead, if that doesn't happen, you can have C happen. Like, there's a lot more involved with these things than I had ever thought would happen, to be honest. These things kind of are starting to blow my mind, because it starts to get a little more into some coding and things that I am not as familiar with, and I have to actually sit down and study some of this stuff a little more. So, yeah, I'm going to work on some of these. I'm going to write out the commands off screen, and then we'll come back in and I'll show you guys kind of what I've done and how I've done them. Maybe I'll get like Josh on here to just kind of test some things out a little bit, perhaps. He was on just a little bit ago, but he left like shortly after he got on. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah. And I mean, that's actually one of the things I could show you guys at some point is, you know, how that's set up, our sleep commands. Because that's actually, it was off of another YouTuber's channel. They set up these, and I just ripped it and copied it. And I'm fairly certain I put in the description of the video where I told you guys about that, but if I didn't, I'll go back through and I'll put it into this one, because I think it's noteworthy. And I'm in survival mode and starving. Shit. Okay. I need food. Where'd I put my food? There's my food. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna work on some of these. I'm gonna type them up off screen. And then I'm gonna come back in. I'll show you guys what I've done, how I figured them out, whatnot. All right, be right back, guys. Bye. All right, guys. So I've been kind of working some of this out, and it's gotten fairly late. And I already know this episode's going up late, a little later than I intended it to. But that's because I just ran out of time. While the sun, I believe, rises in game, it too rises in real life at the moment. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning right now. I need to go to bed, and I have been at this a little too long trying to figure out certain commands for the scoreboard. The last time I did anything with the scoreboard, it was a lot more simplistic. I have never implemented anything with teams or anything like that. And trying to figure out how to implement some of this stuff using command blocks is also another task to itself. So, I am literally not doing this stuff right now. I've spent way too long staring at the wiki and, like, trying to figure out the syntax and everything else for it. I can't do it anymore. My brain has stopped kind of working, though I have figured out a slight fix to my issue here. So let's go ahead and take a look. I have keep inventory off, keep inventory on, mob grief. I told you I'm getting tired. Mob griefing on, mob griefing off, and set spawn inside arena. Now, all of those are pretty much self-explanatory. Let's see. Game rule, keep inventory false. So, it's off, right? Game rule, keep inventory true. It's on, alright? Now, all I had to do to get these working correctly is just offset them by 1. Unfortunately, it just means making an extra comparator every now and then. But I think I'd rather live with that and keep things as compact as possible. Mob griefing, true. That means it's on. Mob griefing off, or false, it means it's off. Basically, you know, it means, like, if it's off, it means a creeper can fall in here and explode and no damajo, which is great because, yeah. Like I've said before, we could come in here, do like the wither battle, that sort of thing, and not have to worry about damage to the surrounding area. And then we just, before we leave, we turn it back on, that sort of thing. Because again, it's one of those things where we're working on, you know, the whole idea of keeping everybody, you know, yeah, everybody's, yeah, nobody's cheating. And then obviously set spawn point. That is for right about here, roughly speaking. And I figured this would be a good spot for everyone to respawn and then just kind of come running back into battle, so to speak. Now, that one in particular could change if I implement what I am thinking about implementing, which is, you know, maybe here or maybe in the sides where they're closer. I don't know where yet, but I'm thinking of making like this area where it's dug down in and you come up and out and, you know, come out and kind of meet in the middle of the battlefield, so to speak, into the middle of the arena. I might set the spawn points in those instead, and, you know, each person has to individually. Y'all gonna just have to ignore that I did that. I forgot I was in creative. That's just to fix that. Okay. So yeah, that was we sit and we we have like these dugouts or these areas. And I mean, within those, maybe I can actually do some of the changes in there as well. Some of the command blocks for what I was talking about as far as, like, if we want certain armor sets, that sort of thing. You choose them inside those areas instead of in here. This is strictly for doing the, I think this area will be strictly for doing like the inventory and mob griefing commands versus anything else. And then, of course, there's going to be the scoreboard stuff. This stuff is going to take me a while to figure out, and I really do think I'm going to actually like drag bacon into this, and like I'm going to try to write up everything the way I'm thinking the way it should go, and then I'm probably going to pass it on to him, like have him double check it, see what he thinks, and go from there. Like some of this I'm probably making it more difficult than it needs to be. But that's kind of the fun in doing redstone work in the long run. It can be kind of difficult. But once everything's set, it can run really well. So my basic plan is to, like I said, we can choose to have two teams, red, blues, whatever, or you can have individual. But then what'll happen is either in this or along the side, the side of the screen, right about here, you'll see pop-ups that show either death counters or kill counters, or a combination of the two, so that maybe you'll have a kill counter in here, death counter on the side, or vice versa. And then if you're in teams, instead it'll appear as team kills versus player kills, that sort of thing. So you want to, so instead of it just racking up for your team, it racks up for, or instead of racking up for you individually, it racks up for your whole team instead. That sort of thing. So yeah, I think I've got a pretty good idea what I'm doing to some degree. It's a lot of it's a lot more work than I anticipated it being, and then I kind of got sidetracked talking with Josh and RC about Overwatch and a few other games and some other things. And the whole time I'm looking at the wiki and trying to write up the syntax so that, I could get some of it done. And I do have some of it written out, or at least some of it started to. I have a general rough guideline, but not enough to actually... Oh yeah, I need to do this. Oh, that's right, you can't. Well, I was originally, because I couldn't figure out until I figured out the staggering thing, I was going to stick the mob griefing commands over there, but yeah, that's going to be here now. So, that's that. Other things. I haven't really done anything else. Well, while I'm in... And you know what? To do this, I'm going to actually do things... Alright. We're going to get our first actual aerial view of what the arena looks like so far. Look at it. I think it's turning out really well. Things are coming along fairly nicely, and yeah. I actually have actually decided I am going to enclose the outside. The outside flames look kind of cool and all, but at the same time, when you walk up to it, it just doesn't look good. So, yeah, I think it's coming along, and we're gonna definitely have a lot more to do in the near future. So, stick around, guys. I've got a lot of work to do yet. And it's only a matter of time till I'm done. I've been working on this almost completely solo. There's a lot of work on the floor I want to do. There's a lot of work on these walls I want to do yet. And there's so much more to do. And I honestly want to get away from this thing for a little while. Maybe keep working on it in the background. And, possibly work on some other projects on screen instead of this. Because I'm sure some of you have gotten tired of seeing this thing. I have, to some degree, gotten tired of seeing it. But at the same time, this is also kind of one of my favorite builds so far. Like, of all my builds I've ever done... This one has so far become a favorite. So, and I think that's because of how much time I've put into it and all the work I've put into it so far. So, stick around, guys. Alright, I'm going to end this video because we are running really long at this point, and I think I need to head to bed. So, alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.